Mataji. Arjuna requested the Lord to take the chariot between the two parties so that he could see who had come to fight against the evil-mindedness of people who had come to fight against him. And the description of his chariot, it was chariot given to him by the sun god. It
No.
had the flag of
Chariot
Hanuman,
given by?
the sun god.
No, Agni Deva.
Agni Deva. Sorry, Agni
Yes.
Deva. Yes.
That's
Thank you,
good.
Mataji, for correcting me. The Agni Deva, and it had the flag of Hanuman on it. They showed that wherever there is Hanuman and wherever there is Krishna, the goddess of fortune is always with them. So this was a sure sign that Arjun, the Pandavas would win the match.
Okay.
Sorry, match
War.
I'm saying, Mataji, war. IPL चल रहा ना माताजी थोड़ा.
I see.
The war. And when Krishna took Arjun's chariot between the two armies, he was aghast to see that all his friends, relatives, father-in-laws, brother-in-laws, all his teachers, his gurus, his grandparents, all were in front of him, and he
Yes.
felt very weak.
Yes.
And he told Krishna that he couldn't fight because
Yes.
he didn't wanted such a kingdom.
Nice, nice. Does anyone remember any pastimes that we discussed in the last two classes in connection to chapter 1? What are the different pastimes we discussed?
Amba. And we
Sorry?
also we spoke about Amba, how she was Vichitra Virya's daughter and how Bhishma took her.
She was not Vichitra Virya, she was Kashi Raja's daughter. And she was kidnapped by Bhishma Deva to marry Vichitra Virya.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I think I missed that. Okay.
Yeah, it's Amba, Ambika, and Ambalika, all three of the princes.
She was reincarnated as Shikandi, and that's when Bhishma didn't fight Shikandi because he thought Shikandi was born as a female and he didn't want to fight against a female.
Yes,
It's the
yes.
past we spoke about now.
Yes, and that's how we discuss how generally today transgenders, we call them as Shikandi, but that's a wrong understanding because Shikandi means a transgender, not a boy, not a girl, or one who's a trans. But in this context, Shikandini, when she was born as a proper girl, and later he became a proper boy. He was not a transgender. So in that sense, nice. Thank you for bringing up. Do you remember, does anyone else remember any other pastimes that we discussed?
Draupadi's Purva Janma as Maya Sita.
Yes, yes, good. Who else remembers? There were a lot of pastimes discussed.
Some pastimes of Yudhishthir Maharaj we also discussed, Mataji.
Which one?
One where he freed the Duryodhan from the clutches of the Gandharvas. And one where the 4 question and answers, Bhimsen sent the person inside and Yudhishthir answered them because Bhima could not answer them.
No, all 4 brothers could not answer.
4. Yes. Okay, ma'am. All 4 could not answer, so
yes.
Yudhishthir had answered.
Yes, yes. Does anyone remember? Yeah.
Hanumanta, they had confrontation and they're both sons of Vayudeva and
Hanuman and Bhima.
Come during Kurukshetra's war and he would be placed on the chariot as a flag and Hanuman
on Arjuna's flag.
Arjuna's flag, and Hanuman did play a pivotal role to win the Kurukshetra battle.
Yes.
Because he caused such a thunderous sound that people actually died of that sound because they were scared.
Okay.
Okay. And Mataji, the Kauravas and Pandavas are blowing the conch shells and how they signify.
Does anyone remember the names of each of their conch shells? What was Krishna's conch shell named?
Panchajanya.
Yes.
Okay.
Arjuna's
Devadatta.
Yes.
Bhima's Poundra.
Yudhishthira
Raja Ananta Vijaya.
Yes. Yes, Ananta Vijaya. And Nakula Sahadeva.
Bhima.
Nakula Sahadeva.
One is Mani Pushpaka.
And Mani Pushpaka.
What was Nakula's
Sughosha.
Sughosha. Yes.
Mahadeva is Mani Pushpaka.
Mani Pushpaka. Yes.
Mani Pushpaka.
Yes. Does anyone remember the pastimes discussed between Drupada and Dronacharya?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
Mataji.
Okay.
Like
What?
he wanted to take revenge on first Dronacharya wanted the kingdom, so which was not given to him, or wealth by the king. Drupada.
He didn't really want the kingdom, but he wanted some
Yeah,
kind
he
of
wanted
support.
some wealth. Yeah,
Yes.
some
Yes.
wealth. So, and then he wanted to, become rich. So he joined the Kauravas so that he can afford his son the better living.
Yeah.
And later on, Drupada wanted to take revenge on Dronacharya, which Dronacharya didn't want to take any revenge. Later, he just forgets when Arjuna puts him at his feet.
Yeah. Yes. And the birth of pastimes of Ashwatthama, how
Yeah.
he is very attached to his loyalty for Duryodhana, what was the source for this? Good. All of you remember most of it. Now, I know Preeti Mataji mentioned one of the indications of a sure shot victory for Pandavas, but can someone, one by one, list all the other indications in the first chapter so far that indicated that the victory for Pandavas was confirmed? What are the other reasons mentioned?
Because Krishna was on the side
Yes,
of.
that's one reason. Krishna. Let's from the
Krishna
beginning.
gave the option of choosing between the Narayan Seva army and Krishna himself to Duryodhana first, and Duryodhana chose the Narayan Seva army.
It was given to Arjuna first. The choice to make a.
Oh, is it?
Yes, it was given first to Arjuna. But since Arjuna chose Krishna, Duryodhana was happy and he said, okay, in that case, anyway, Narayani Sena will be mine. So, yes.
Another one is like they are on the Dharma side. They haven't done anything wrong.
Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra, because they are in the Dharma Kshetra, which is Kurukshetra itself. That's another reason why victory is assured for them. Okay.
Kurukshetra being the purified.
The sound of conch shells,
purified,
Mataji, of sorry, please continue. Sorry.
Kurukshetra being the purified place, being the most holiest place.
Yes.
To the advantage of Pandavas.
Yes, that's the second reason we just mentioned. Correct. Third reason.
Mataji, the conch shells which were blown shattered the hearts of the Kauravas.
Yes, and it was also transcendental conch shells. Each one had a very transcendental conch shell. So 4 reasons. Shattered the hearts of the Kauravas when it was hurt, and nothing like that happened to the Pandavas when conch shells were blown by Kauravas. They were not scared, but when the conch shells of the Pandavas were blown, it shattered the hearts of the Kauravas with fear. Okay. What are the other reasons can you think about?
Because Krishna,
Hanuman. Yes,
Krishna,
Hanuman.
Because Krishna is there, so goddess of fortune is also on there.
Correct. Correct. Fortune, right? So victory is assured.
And the Ratha is given by
Agni Deva.
Agni Deva. So
Agni Deva. Why is everyone giving every demigod name today? Okay. Agni Deva. Okay. And Hanuman. Did we already mention that? The presence of Hanuman. Okay, good, good. All of you quite nicely have summarized the chapter so far. Okay, any questions on anything discussed till verse 30? Okay, let's go to our verses then. So I think we already finished verse 28, but just for the sake of recollecting, 28 to 30, let's just read the purports alone. Okay. Can someone read this? Hamsa Vali Mataji, just read the purports from verse 28 to 30.
Only purport, madam?
Yes, only purport.
Okay,
yes,
okay.
Yes.
accepting that there are two classes of philosophers, one believing in the existence of the
Sorry,
soul.
not purpose. Translation, please.
Translation. Yeah.
Translation, okay. Text 28. All created beings are unmanifest in their beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated.
Which
So
chapter
what?
are you reading, Mataji?
Sorry. Sorry. I was reading from the book, so. Arjuna Vacha.
Sorry, I got a comment on chat that my voice is breaking from Geeta Mataji. Is that the case for everyone? Is my voice breaking?
Mataji. It's clear.
Geeta Mataji, could be an internet issue. Okay, sorry, Hamsavali Mataji, please go ahead.
Text 28. Arjuna said, "My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up." Text 29. My whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on end, my bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning. Text 30. I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself, and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune. O Krishna, killer of the Kesi demon.
Okay, so after seeing the army, the whole army, not just the Kaurava army, but his army as well, he's thinking, now I have to fight all my relatives, friends, so many nice people, all my grandfathers. He's thinking of all his, Bhishma Pitamaha, Somadatta, all the grandfathers, Dronacharya, Kripacharya, and all the friends and brothers like Duryodhana, Vikarna. He's thinking of his the sons like Lakshmana and grandsons like the sons of Lakshmana. So like this, he's thinking of all the people. He's seeing all the people who are standing there willing to fight, and he's thinking, he goes through these bodily symptoms: trembling of heart, quivering of limbs, drying of mouth, hair standing on ends. So the first, and now he is telling Krishna, I'm unable to stand here any longer. I'm forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I see causes of misfortune, O Krishna, killer of Keshi demon. So what Arjuna is doing here, he is now telling Krishna on why it's not a good reason, good enough reason to fight all these people. And the very first reason, he gives altogether 5 reasons. Okay, the first reason is his compassion. He's showing his compassion, his legs trembling, his limbs quivering, mouth drying up. These are all symptoms of his compassionate nature. Right, he is worried that because of this war, so many people will go through so many chaos. The society will go through chaos. So he's feeling compassionate for the people he is supposed to fight. So he's telling he's not able to fight. He's not going to be the reason for all this misfortune. Right, so he's showing his compassionate nature in this way. So the first reason mentioned by Arjuna here in these verses from verse 28 to 30, he's showing his compassionate nature and telling, because of my compassion for these people, I'll not be able to fight. Okay, that's the first reason stated by Arjuna on why he cannot fight. Now let's go to verse 31. Please read as per the names I have listed in the chat.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Na cha shreyo na pashyami hatva swajanam ahave na kangshe vijayam Krishna na cha rajyam sukhani cha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsmen in this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I do not see how any good can come from killing all my relatives like this. Right? Nor can I, my dear Krishna, see any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. He's saying this is his second reason on why he should not fight. Why does one fight? One fights for their family, for the welfare of their family. right? So he's saying, what is the happiness I can, if all my family members are going to be dead in this battle, then how can there be any subsequent happiness? How can I rejoice with my family, right? So here, Krishna, without knowing that one's self-interest is in Vishnu or Krishna, conditioned souls are attracted by bodily relations, hoping to be happy in such situations. So the purport very nicely explains the condition that Arjuna is going for. He is getting attached to these bodily relations, to all the people he thinks that is his own, right? So in the purport is all further explained that Arjuna appears to have even forgotten the moral codes of a Kshatriya. It is said that there are two kinds of men, namely the Kshatriya, who dies directly in front of the battlefield under Krishna's personal order, and the person in the renounced order of life who's absolutely devoted to spiritual culture or eligible to enter into the sun globe, which is so powerful and dazzling. So there are Kshatriya code in Varnashrama. There are 4 Varnas mentioned. In that, the administrative class is Kshatriya. Now, what is the duty of a Kshatriya? The duty of the Kshatriya is to protect others from any kind of harm. Kshatriya, right? One who protects others from any kind of harm. So that's the general duty of a Kshatriya. But here, Kshatriya is this purport is explaining what is the duty of a Kshatriya. Okay, a Kshatriya's primary duty as per Varnashrama is to fight as per the orders of Krishna, right? Or if you're a Brahmana, then your primary duty is Patan Patan, Yajan Yajan, and Dhana and Pratigraha, right? That is, Patan is studying and giving knowledge. Yajan Yajan is performing yagna, right? Or doing sacrifices. And then dhana is to give donations, and receive pratigraha is to receive donations. So that is a duty of a Brahmana. Now, a Brahmana is such that if you put them in a, the only objective in life is to perform service to the Lord. They are in sattva guna, so they always want to do duties as prescribed to them, right? So they want to be very regulated in their existence. And it said that a Brahmana is so focused on learning and giving knowledge, and they're not doing this for money, right? They are doing it because that's the right thing to do. So that's the nature of a Brahmana, right? And a Brahmana will never pick up a job which means they'll get a salary every month. So they don't have such kind of intentions. That's how a Shudra performs. Anyone who who works for a salary is practically a Shudra. But a Brahmana, even if they have to take an IT job, say, where they get a good monthly salary and all that, internally there'll be some kind of dissatisfaction that this is not my primary objective. This is not what I should be doing, right? So a person who's in the incorrect field, he's a person born as a Brahmana but doing a job of a Shudra or of a Vaishya, will never be happy in that job that they do, right? Similarly, here Kshatriya is supposed to fight, right? But Arjuna is saying, instead of fighting, what should I not just give up fight? What happiness will come from all this, right? But he's thinking at a very material level. He's thinking that because of all these people I need to kill, it's better I don't give up fight. I give up battle at all. And in the purport, it's mentioned over here, a person who has no hunger is not inclined to cook, right? So Arjuna in other ways is thinking that because of my desire to rule, then so hence I have to fight. But what if I give up my desire completely to rule, right? Though even before the war, they tried to lower down the expectation and say, just give us 5 villages. We don't want anything else, right? They tried to bring down the expectation, but even that didn't work out. Now that they are in the state of war, he's thinking my desire for fighting is causing, the desire for this kingdom is causing all this miseries around me. So shouldn't I just give up my desire for the kingdom completely? But he's not acting like a Kshatriya when he's talking like this, because the Kshatriya duties are not to give up everything and just think of themselves. A Kshatriya is meant to be thinking about his subjects, to administrate the kingdom. But that is his second reason on why he should not fight. He's thinking, rather than fighting these people, shouldn't I just give up everything and live a secluded life, right? Arjuna might say that so right now, but if being a Kshatriya, if he does a full renunciation and goes to jungle, he'll be frustrated in that life as well. That's something we need to remember as well. But he's not meant to be doing a renounced way of life. He's supposed to be ruling. But that is his second reason, that he does not foresee any kind of enjoyment. So verse 32, 33, 34, and 35. Please read it in the same order given. Devi Nair is not there. If who's there? Anjali Mataji, please read first verse. Okay, I'll go. Kim no rajena govinda, kim boghe jivitena va, yasham arte kankshitam no, rajam bhogaha sukani cha. Next. Neerajakshi Mataji, Indira Mataji, Sunita Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Ta ime visishta yutte pranamas tva dinani cha acharya pitra putras tataiva cha pitamaha. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
34. Matula shushura pautra pyala sambandhina sada eda na handumichami khandopi madhusudana. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
Api trailokya rajasya heto kim no mahi krite nihatya dharta rashtrana kapiti syaj janardana. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Read the translation. Yeah.
O Govinda, of what avail to us are a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those from whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield? O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, father-in-law, grandsons, brother-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what pleasure is continuing on the second reason on what is the enjoyment? What's the pleasure? So he's giving a referring to Krishna in various names over here. He's talking as to Krishna as Govinda. What does the word Govinda mean? Govinda is the one who is an object of pleasure. Okay, he's an object of pleasure for all the jivas, cows especially. He's called Govinda because he's an object of pleasure to the cows. So, O Govinda, what avail is to us our kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed in this battlefield. So we, when we work, do our daily, work, when we go to different companies and from morning to evening, we spend so much hours working for someone else. Why do we take all that effort? So that from the salary that we get, we are able to maintain our family, right? So similarly, Arjuna is asking, then what's the point of me fighting Govinda? He's telling, calling Krishna as Govinda because he's the one who gives pleasure to all the jivas. So he's asking, so if I don't get any pleasure in this battle, then why should I fight? Right? He's, in other words, asking Krishna, why don't you help me stop this battle in some way and give me some satisfaction, some sense of pleasure. And then he's saying Madhusudana, right? Madhusudana means one who killed the demon called Madhu. So Krishna has killed many, many demons, but he's saying, oh Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, material uncles, fathers-in-laws and grandsons, brother-in-laws, and all other relatives are ready to give up their lives and property and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? Right? So he's saying, you have killed so many demons, right? You have killed so many demons, but would you kill your own father or your own teacher? Right? But all the people standing here in front of me are my teacher's father's son. You wouldn't do that. You kill demons because they were asuric people and they deserve to die. But these people are all related to me. They have taken care of me as my in my younger days. They have looked after me in much love and care. So how can I kill them? Right? He's putting all these questions to Krishna, so that Krishna can in turn help him resolve this conflict that he's feeling. And he's saying, oh maintainer of all living beings, I'm prepared to fight with them, even in exchange. I'm not prepared to fight with them even in exchange of these three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? Right? So he's saying finally that what's the point of killing? What's the point of killing all these people? Even if they are come here to fight and kill us all, but we know better that we know what is the consequence of killing all these people. So why should we fight? So here Arjuna is conveying his reasons for not fighting. He's telling that because of his deep affection for his family, he should not be pushed to fight. Right now, why is he putting all these different arguments in front of Krishna? Because remember, they had all agreed that this is the right thing to do. And Krishna had also said, okay, and though Krishna had gone as a Shanti Duta initially to avoid this whole fight, to stop the war, but when that did not work out, finally the Pandavas and Krishna had all decided that this is the right thing to do, to go and fight now. Right? Now, if Krishna tells Arjuna, then, don't fight, it's okay, then maybe that would completely have stopped this whole war. Right? So Arjuna in some way is trying to get some, some kind of assurance from Krishna. It's okay if you don't want to fight, let's stop this war. So he's putting all these other arguments in front of Arjuna, Krishna, and telling, maybe it's not a good thing, because first thing he says, I'm feeling so much compassion for my relatives, and then he's saying, after all my relatives die, then what is the point of all this kingdom? Who will I enjoy it with? Right? So there's no pleasure without relatives. So that's what he's saying. So he's using different names for Krishna: Govindana, Janardana. He's calling Krishna as Madhusudana. So he's in different words. He's using all his communication skills, all the different ways to describe Krishna, to pass the message across that you wouldn't do it, so should I do it? So that's a kind of argument that's put out by Arjuna. Verse 36, Preeti Mataji, please read this.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Papam, sorry. Papam eva shayed asman hattavetan atita atta. Sorry. Hattavetan atataina tasman naraha vayam hantum datarashtrans बंधवान स्वजनम ही कथम हत्वा सुखीना श्याम माधव. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada की जय. Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of the Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune, and how can we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you.
Okay, so Krishna is referred to as Madhava over here. Okay, we'll understand the significance of Madhava in a bit. So Madhava is, O Krishna, the husband of the goddess of fortune. Right? So he's referring to Krishna as one who is married to the goddess of fortune herself, Mother Lakshmi. right? So he's saying by going ahead with this war, then we'll bring about so many misfortune, which is not as per your name. Then it will not be, you'll not bring auspiciousness, fortune to the family. So when we are looking of Mother Lakshmi, there is Lakshmi and there is Alakshmi. Right? We know Mother Lakshmi famously is known as the one who brings a fortune or wealth, but that is not the only scope of understanding Mother Lakshmi, though it's limited to understanding Mother Lakshmi as the one who provides wealth, but she is also auspiciousness. She gives bhakti. Okay, so that aspect of Mother Lakshmi we completely forget, right? If it's not Lakshmi, then there is a Lakshmi in the house, right? Mother Lakshmi is generally there in a place which is where Krishna is praised constantly, right? Where we remember Krishna constantly. Whereas we are where the kitchen is and your prayer room is very very nicely kept. Not just these places, even the places where Krishna is living, the house in which Krishna is living. If it's anything that is orderly done, cleanliness is maintained, hygiene is maintained. This is the kind of place that Mother Lakshmi exists, right? On the other side, Alakshmi, who is the wife of Kali Purusha. Okay, so she exists in place where there's disorderliness, unhygiene behavior, right? Or a lot of chaos, a lot of fights. Such places Alakshmi comes in, right? So Alakshmi, we should understand, is also she came during Samudra Mantana. Before Mother Lakshmi appeared in Samudra Mantana, Alakshmi appeared. So she also is called as the elder sister of Lakshmi, Mother Lakshmi. So Alakshmi is understood to be creating a lot of chaos. She can also provide wealth to the family, but that such kind of wealth that comes from Alakshmi is spent in very chaotic manner, not for Krishna conscious activities. It's spent in, say, businesses that run into losses, or in hospital bills, or it's spent in things that's not supposed to be spent on. Right. So even if money comes, it's wasted in such things, unauspicious things. But the wealth that comes because we are a devotee of Krishna, such wealth gets from Mother Lakshmi, then that gets distributed in more auspicious manner. So that's a difference between Lakshmi and Alakshmi. So here Krishna is referred as the husband of Mother Lakshmi. Ma Dhava. Ma is Lakshmi, Dhava is the husband. So he's saying, if you do all this fighting, then so many sins will come to us, right? What kind of sins he's talking about? In Artha Shastra, there are 6 types of aggressors defined. Aggressors are people who are against the Vedas, ashastrik, people who behave very ashastrik way, right? The first person is a poison giver. Okay, one who sets fire to the house, one who attacks with deadly weapons, one who plunders wealth, one who occupies another land, and one who kidnaps a wife, right? So such aggressors are at once to be killed, and no sin is incurred by killing such aggressors. This is what Arthashastra says. Okay. Now remember, Arthashastra, then comes Dharma Shastra, and then comes Bhagavad Dharma. So Arthashastra is talking about economics, politics, how to run a society. So these kind of things come in Arthashastra, or Nyaya Shastra comes in Arthashastra. So here it's as per Arthashastra, it said that these kind of 6 aggressors, even if you kill them, there is no sin occurred. Now in Mahabharata, can you think of a person who has done all these 6 kind of aggressions? Duryodhana. Okay. He has given poison for sure to Bhimasena. We discussed that last class.
Yes,
right? And one who sets fire to the house. So he has schemed to burn the Pandavas in a wax house. That has also happened. One who attacks with deadly weapons, right? We know about Ashwatthama, who attacked the children of Pandavas with Brahmastra, right? Deadly weapons. And one who plunders riches happened. This has also happened with Duryodhana. One who's occupied another person's land and one who kidnaps a wife. Jayadratha tried to kidnap Draupadi, right? That has also happened. So we can safely say that Kauravas are aggressors as per Arthashastra, and Arthashastra says that there's no harm in killing and there's no sins occurred. Then why is Arjuna here saying in this verse that sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors? Because Arjuna is trying to be compassionate, right? He's thinking above Artha Shastra is Dharma Shastra. And what does Dharma Shastra say? Dharma Shastra says it's good to be pious, it's good to be forgiving, it's good to be religious. So Dharma Shastra talks about dharma. So dharma talks at a higher level than Artha. Right? Artha talks at an economic material welfare. Dharma Shastra talks at a little higher level. And as per Dharma Shastra, he says it's better to be forgiving, to be pious. So he says, in that case, if we overcome Dharma Shastra, then sins will overcome us. So even for such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. We should, what should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the mother of fortune? And how can we be happy by killing our king's men? So another example mentioned here is Ravana. He's also another kind of aggressor. But also here, just because Rama is a pious person, he did not stop himself from killing Ravana. That's another example given in the purport, that a Kshatriya should not think of being pious. That is not the behavior expected from a Kshatriya. A Kshatriya is expected to fight. Right? So in this case, Arjuna is saying, I'll try to be higher than Arthashastra. I'll try to follow Dharma Shastra and I'll try to forgive them. But in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that's not how Arjuna should behave. He should fight, just like Lord Rama fought Ravana. Right? So such kind of misplaced compassion or questions on what is higher, Artha Shastra, Dharma Shastra, or Bhagavad Dharma. So such kind of confusion is often seen in our Shastras, right? But here, even beyond Dharma Shastra, if you look at it, since it's a duty of Arjuna to perform his Dharma as a Kshatriya, in that case, he should be fighting on the basis that that's the right thing to do. Right? And he should not simply give reasons like sins will overcome us. And that's the third reason given by Arjuna on why he should not fight. He's saying, because if I fight, then sins will overcome us. So he's talking as such that he should not fight. Let's read verse 37 and 38.
यद्यप्येतेन पश्यन्ति लोभोपहत चेतसः कुलक्ष्य कृतं दोषं मित्रद्रोहे च पातकम्.
Sita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Katam na gneyam asmabhihi papad asman nivartitum kula kyasa krutam dosham papasyadbhir janardana. Translation: O Janardana, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime and destroying a family, engage in these acts of sin?
Okay, so he's asking, putting the question that you and I are better than these people. They can't see the problem with fighting. Their hearts are filled with greed. They do not see the fault in killing families. They do not see a problem in quarreling with friends, but we see all these issues. So why should we then fight? Is a question that Arjuna is putting to Krishna. Okay, so Krishna has not responded yet. He's very silently listening to all the doubts that Arjuna is putting. So far, he said, my heart is filled with compassion. I cannot fight. Then he says, he's seeing no reason, enjoyment. Even if he wins the battle, there's no enjoyment. Then the third reason he gives is sins. right? He's saying we will be filled with sins. He's fearful of the sins that he'll incur because of this act. So let's read verse 39. Ramesh sir is not there, so Ganesh Prabhuji. Okay, Ganesh Prabhuji is not responding, so I'll give another name.
Excuse me. Hello, I'm reading. No?
Oh, we couldn't hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll start.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. कुलक्षये प्रणश्यान्ति कुलधर्मे सनातना धर्मे नष्टे कुलं कृष्टम् अधर्मो विभवति ito. Translation: with the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion.
Right. So this is the fourth reason given by Arjuna. Now, rest of the verses will talk about this fourth reason for not fighting. So he's saying, with the destruction of dynasty, what will happen when the men are killed in the war? That leads to destruction of dynasty, right? Then as a result of that, the eternal family traditions are vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes irreligious, right? So what does this mean? So he's talking about the different purificatory processes that one follows from the birth to death. What generally it's the elders of the family, right, who tell us that this has to be done as at birth. You need to do garbhadana samskara, you need to do the upanita upavita process, you need to do the naming ceremony, annaprashana, or at death this has to be the pinda samskara has to be done. So these are the elders who guide us through all these processes. But if the elders of the family itself are not there to guide the family, then people will normally give up all these purificatory processes. So as a result of this, the younger ones in the family will become irreligious, because as soon as there's nobody to guide, they very naturally take up irreligious habits and thereby lose their chance for spiritual salvation, right? So in one way, by killing people in the war, then that naturally leads to lack our loss of spiritual salvation. The whole family will lose their chance to be go higher in spiritual knowledge. So that's this is a flow over here. Let's read verse 40. Was Praveen Prabhuji, are you there? Okay, Indira Mataji, can you please read?
You call me Mataji?
Yes, read verse 40.
Yeah. Adharma bhavat Krishna pradyushyanti kula striya strishu dushtashu var varsneya jayate varna shankara.
Jayate adharma bhivat Krishna pradyushyanti kulastriyah shitu dushtasu vashneya jayate varnas sankaraha.
Sankara. Translation. I'm not getting the translation. Yeah. When irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, a descendant of Vrishni comes unwanted progeny. Thank you, Mataji.
So this is talking about as irreligion increases in the society, then what happens? When irreligion is prominent in the family, then the women of the family get polluted. Why specifically women are mentioned in this verse? Because remember, women are considered to be the pride of the family, right? Every family takes a great care to nurture the women, take care of them. No bad name, bad reputation should come to the women of the family. So women are taken care by the elders of the family, by the husband, by the children. So this way women are representing the fame, the good glory of the family, right? If women are happy, then the family is happy. So this here is said that if there's nobody to protect the women of the family, then the women get polluted, right? Or they are exposed to other men who want to abuse them or manipulate them for their own good. And that this way the women can get polluted when they are exposed to men outside the family. And from then degradation of women, then unwanted progeny happens. So these are all the side effects of being in a situation of war. And these reasons that's mentioned by Arjuna is not really his imagination. This is a reality as well. Any nation, when it goes through a war, we have gone through many, many wars in our history. When the Mughals invaded India, there were so many, men would fight, of course, and men would die. But what happens once the Mughals would take over the kingdom, then the leftover breed, the children, the women, they had to go through a lot of abuse in the hands of these Mughal kingdoms. They were raped, they were made slaves, they were going through all kind of abuse because they were now exposed to other men outside their family. So this way, uh, Arjuna is pointing out that, it's a reality that once the war happens and the men are dead, then women would be degraded, and hence there'll be a lot of Varna Sankara. Varna Sankara is unwanted progeny, right? Anytime childbirth goes, especially in a Vaishnava culture, when there's a expected childbirth in the family, then we go through a process called as Garbhadhana Samskara. Even before the conception of the child, there's a process called Garbhadhana Samskara, where the prospective mother is given knowledge on how to be, even through the process of pregnancy, what mood they need to be in, what are the prayers they need to chant. So this way, when they go through the Garbhadhana Samskara, when the child comes, the child is ready to be a good Brahmana. It's already given much knowledge in the womb itself. And even after birth, there are processes the women follow as part of the Garbhadhana Samskara. So these are the things that today's women may not really do, because of which, there is a lot of Varna Sankara even today in our society. And you can see the result of this. All the passionate decisions made by the leaders, the result of it is war everywhere. There's economic up and downs every day, right? For smallest thing, one country is saying, okay, we have nuclear weapons ready. We are ready for war anytime. Okay, don't challenge us. So this is the kind of language one country speaks to the other, because we are ruled by a population that is coming from Varna Sankara, right? Who have not been brought with the right kind of samskaras. Even if there's no state of war, people are still not spiritually conscious to understand what kind of children how a children should be given birth, a child should be given birth of. So if the right processes are not followed, then there's a lot of unwanted progeny. And from unwanted progeny, what happens? That is explained in the next verse. Verse 41.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Shankaro narakaya iva kula jnanam kulasya cha patani pitro hesham lupta pindo daka kriyaha. Translation: an increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life, both for the family and for those who destroy the family traditions. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because of the performances of offering them food and water are entirely stopped. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Now he's talking about what happens as a result of this unwanted progeny. Okay, then a hellish life is created for the family. Like we just discussed, it's not just for the family. It's even for the society, but it starts with the family. The hellish life situation it starts with the family, and for those and because of this, the family traditions are lost. Right? There are many things that we do, like prayers, morning prayers, we read books. All of us are very fortunate that we are coming, whatever families that we come from, whatever kind of birth we have, because of our previous karma, we are now somehow exposed to Krishna consciousness. So some level of culture is still left in the lifestyle that we live. But there are rest of the population of the billions, maybe less than 0.1% is exposed to spiritual knowledge. Right? But the rest of the 99.9% population, what they are doing, they are living a very hellish life. And why is it called hellish? We'll try to understand that, right? Because here, they are, one second. So it said that for those who destroy family tradition and the ancestors of such family fall down because of a performance. So it's not just for their own family who are living, even their ancestors. Now, who are ancestors? People before us, right? Your father, grandfather, great grandfather, so ancestors like that. These people are generally not in a living, but even for them, if timely oblations are not offered, pinda dana, that like we call it, anyone who is dead, we on annually we select one amavasya or something like that, and we offer pinda to the ancestors. Right, Mahalaya Amavasya, we offer pinda. So if all these oblations duties are not done, then why do we offer these oblations to begin with? Of course, your ancestors would have taken rebirth by now, but the Pitra Devatas, okay, Pitra Loka is one of the heavenly planets. So the Devatas that manage the Pitra Loka, what they do is whenever you offer this oblation, oblation is essentially Vishnu Prasada, right? We should not offer meat, alcohol. Many people do that. When they're doing offering oblations to the ancestors, they offer non-veg or some kind of meat or alcohol to the ancestors. Now, why do we offer Krishna Prasada? It's because when we offer Krishna Prasada, whatever your ancestor might be going through some hellish existence or reborn in earthly planet, or they're going through some lower existence, or they could be even in heaven, whatever planet they are reborn in. For if they have some karma, bad karma, because of which they are living a hellish existence. Okay, when he offers these oblations, the Pitra Devatas will pass on that oblation to the soul. And because of that, oblation is spiritual food. And when they receive this, Atma receives this offering from their ancestors, then they get some kind of relief in whatever life they are in, right? Sometimes you might notice that it could be happening because of your karma, or it could be happening because of the oblations from your ancestors. Something that sometimes your day goes easy, very easy. Everything seems to be fine. And things that were supposed to be very, very chaotic, suddenly it's going very easy. Right? Or somebody might be living in hellish planets, right? And they might be going through some kind of punishment, and because oblation is offered, then in that that maybe one course of that punishment will be reduced for them. So this is what oblation does. But when one gives unwanted food as oblation, like non-veg or meat, a person who's already going through much of their bad karma reactions, then when they receive such oblations, then their situation is further worsened. Right? Many people offer brandy, whiskey to the ancestors, saying, my grandfather or grandmother used to have a shot when she was alive. She used to enjoy this. But that's not the right way to offer oblation. Oblation should be to give them some relief. And relief can be given to a dead person only by offering them Krishna Prasada. Otherwise, you're only putting them in more misery. Okay, so in this verse, it said that if these unwanted progeny, what they do is they put not just their family, even their ancestors in more pathetic situation, because they result, whatever the activities they are doing, they're putting them through much more trouble than because they stop offering oblations to begin with, or even if oblations are offered, they don't understand why oblation has to be offered. right? And they put this, if the jiva is going through some kind of yatana, then because of this misoffering or no offering, they are going to go through more yatana because of all those activities. So here it is said in this verse, Devashi Bhutapta Rinam Pritnam Na Kinkaro Nayam Rinicha Rajan Sarvatmana Yah Saranam Saranyam Gato Mukundam Parihritya Kartam. Anyone who takes shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, the giver of liberation, giving up all kind of obligations and having taken to the path of all in all seriousness, owes neither duties nor obligations to the demigods, sages, general living beings, family members, humankind, or forefathers. Such obligations are automatically fulfilled by performance of devotional activities, service to the Supreme Lord. But this verse is talking about a higher state for a person who's liberated. Okay, otherwise one has to offer oblations, because just because we are the devotee of Krishna does not mean we are liberated, right? We are not in that state of constantly thinking of Krishna. When we reach that state where we only want to think of Krishna, we don't want to remember anything, do anything else, do any other activities, then we can think of other not doing these obligatory duties. But otherwise we have to do these oblations. Whatever Dharma Shastra says, we have to do. Okay, so this is how he's saying, because of the progeny, then it leads to the downfall of the ancestors. Let's read the next verse.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
In this verse, does it also mean that because these are undesired progeny, so they may not perform the Shraddha or Shraddha Parshraddha to the
Yes.
forefathers?
Yes.
Because they are not their real they are not their real sons or daughters or whatever it is, but they are
Mother is
unwanted progeny.
Yes, unwanted progeny, because one, remember the first point he mentioned is because the elders are killed, then there's nobody to teach the family on what are the family offerings, religious. Yes, so if elders are killed, then when there's nobody to teach them, and the women are exposed, then even if progeny comes from, or unwanted progeny, whatever it is, then there's nobody to tell them on what's the right process to what's a yes. Yes, you can understand it that way as well. But irrespective, right? A child is born from a woman, so women can tell them what family they belong to. So when you do offerings like that, when you know who's your grandfather, great grandfather, when you're offering oblations like that, then the relief is to that person, the ancestor.
Right. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Verse 1.42, I'll request Sumedh Prabhu to read this.
Yes, Mataji. 1.42 or 3?
42.
Okay. Doshaireति kulaghnanam varna shankara karakai.
It's not one varna shankara, it's sankara. Sankara.
Okay. Varna sankara karakai उत्तास्यन्ते जति धर्मा कुलधर्मश्च शाश्वतः. Translation: by the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and families' welfare activities are devastated.
Okay, so it's not, the effect is not limited to the family alone or the ancestors, but because of this unwanted progeny, then all the community projects, all welfare activities are devastated. Now, this word Varna Sankara, okay, Varna Sankara. Shankara means everything that's auspicious, right? Shankara is Lord Shiva. He represents everything that's auspicious. Now, Sankara over here means all the trouble, or all the destruction, all the unwanted things, right? Varna Sankara. That's the meaning of that word Sankara. So in here it's saying, so because of all these activities, then because people are not following Sanatana Dharma, they are not following Varnashrama Dharma, then there's no the society is put in much chaos. All the development work that's supposed to happen because of one rash decision of a leader who's coming from this unwanted progeny, then the whole society is kind of put in a trouble situation, right? And there are many examples of this in today's world. Our society today is a living example of Varna Sankara in that sense, right? So therefore, the breaking of Sanatana Dharma tradition by irresponsible leaders of society brings chaos in the society, and consequently people forget the aim of life, Vishnu. Such leaders are called blind, and people who follow such leaders are sure to lead into chaos. Okay, let's read the next verse.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Verse 43. Utsannakula dharmanam manusyanam janardana narake nityam vaso bhavatite anushruma. O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard by disciplic succession that those whose family tradition are destroyed dwell always in hell. Hare Krishna Mataji.
So heard by disciplic succession that those whose family traditions are destroyed, they always live in hell, not just on material earth, even beyond, after the material existence, they continue living. After this life, they continue living in hell. Okay, so here it is mentioned, one cannot reach the real point of factual knowledge without getting help by the right person who's already established in knowledge. And here Arjuna is saying he has heard from disciplic succession. It's not just his own thoughts, it's coming from the right source. So he's saying it's from factual knowledge. He knows that one who is, because of all this breaking of family traditions, then people will perpetually start living in hell. So there is a system in Varnashrama institution by which before death, one has to undergo the process of atonement for his sinful activities. Now, what is Varnashrama? Varnashrama defines people as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra based on their guna and karma, right? So based on that, a Brahmana has to, if they have done some sinful activities, they need to do some atonement. Kshatriyas do need to do some kind of atonement. But overall, there's something called as Pancha Mahayagna. Okay, that is defined in Varnashrama. So while we are living, we have to do this 5 types of Mahayagnas to atone for our sins. One is the Brahma Yagna, where we pray to the Vedas, the scriptures, and then there's Devata Yagna, where we pray to different Devatas, because some way or the other they're helping us in our material existence. So in a way of thanking them and all the trouble that we give them, we pray for their mercy. And then there is Pitra Yagna for all our ancestors. Okay, and then there is Bhuta Yagna for all the living beings. And then there's Manusha. Manusha is the other human beings. Okay, so Bhuta and Manusha. There's 5 types of Mahayagnas. So in some way or the other, always because of our existence, we are troubling, we are disobeying the Vedas. We are following, our ancestors who took care of us, who gave us birth, to thank them in some ways, for the Devatas who are protecting us and maintaining us, or even while, for other humans, our existence is a trouble for some other human, right? And neighbors might be disturbed by our existence, or, family members may not like that we are existing and we are creating some chaos for them, or even other jivas, mainly jiva, bhuta yagna. We do that because in the course of, say, building our house, we dig the land, and all the jivas in the soil get disturbed or killed, or while we are growing food, we harvest the land, or plow the land. In that process, there's a lot of sin incurred because there are so many jivas in the land that gets killed because of the process of growing food, right? Or when we build a house, or cut a tree for the wooden structures within the house, even then there's so many birds or jivas living in the trees. So a lot of bhutas get affected because of our existence. So to atone for all these sins, we should do this kind of pancha mahayagnas to atone for these sins. This is what Varnashrama says. Okay, so one who is always engaged in sinful activities must utilize the process of atonement called prayaschita. Without doing so, one surely will be transferred to hellish planets. So all these traditions, if not done, we end up in, because of the accumulated sins, we constantly are accumulating sins, and because of all that accumulated sins, then we end up in hellish planets. Okay, so that's what this verse means. Let's read the next verse, 44.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Aho bata mahatpapam kartum yavasita vayam yadrajya sukha lobhena hantum swajana mudyataha. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts. Driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness, we are intent on killing our own kinsmen. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay, so how strange it is that we are prepared to commit great sinly acts. Driven by selfish motives, one may be inclined to do such sinful acts as the killing of one's own brother, father, or mother. There are many such instances in the history of the world, but Arjuna, being a saintly devotee of the Lord, is always conscious of moral principles and therefore takes care to avoid such activities. So he's saying, why should we then do such sinful activities if it's going to lead to all these kind of catastrophic events in the society? Verse 45. Lata Mataji.
यदि माम प्रतीकारं न शस्त्रं शस्त्रपाणयः दाताराष्ट्ररणेह हन्युस्तस्मे
Sorry, did we lose you?
Sorry. I'm in mute, Mataji.
I can hear you.
1.45. यदि माम प्रतीकाराम शस्त्रं शस्त्रपाणयः दातराष्ट्रारडेहन्युस्त तन्मे क्षेमतरं भवेत्. Translation: better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unnamed and unresisting on the battlefield.
So he's saying it's better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra just kill me, right? So in other words, he's saying he wants to give up his Kshatriya duties and say if they want to kill me, let them just kill me. He's talking in a very non-Kshatriya way over here, right? In other words, he's telling Krishna, if you are anyway death personified, why do you want to make me the reason to kill all these people? If they have to be killed, then why don't you just kill them? Right? But what he doesn't know that Krishna has already killed these people. Just because he's asking Arjuna to fight does not make Arjuna the reason for the result, right? Arjuna is not going to be the reason for the death of all these people, but they are already dead because Krishna has decided that these people are going to be killed. So Arjuna just has to execute his duty. But Arjuna doesn't know that. He's thinking better than getting, better than would be just to get killed by the hands of the sons of Dhritarashtra. Last verse for the day, Anita Mataji.
Sanjaya Uvacho Evam Muktarbarjunaha Sankhe Stopastha Upavisat Visrujya Sansara Chapam Soka Sambhigna Manasaha. Sanjay said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with the grief. Hare Krishna.
So Arjuna has given 4 reasons so far on why he should not fight. But I mentioned that Arjuna is giving 5 reasons overall, right? But so far he's only given 4 reasons. Can we think of all the reasons so far? What's the first reason?
Desire for
compassion.
His compassion, yes. What's the second reason?
No enjoyment.
No enjoyment.
No enjoyment. Third?
Fearful that his act will be filled with sins.
Sinful reactions. He's fearful of the sinful reaction. And the fourth is?
Due to the destruction of dynasty, there will be irreligiousness.
Yes, destruction of the dynasty and the destruction of family will have its own results. Can you tell me the sequence of what is the result of destruction of dynasty? What happens?
Progeny.
Unwanted
progeny.
No, let's go in the sequence.
Increase. Yeah.
All men will die in war.
Okay, because of, let's remember the sequence. We need to know the sequence.
Family tradition is vanquished, Mataji.
Family traditions are vanquished, correct, right? Because
And
the elders are killed.
Involved in irreligion.
Yes.
And when irreligion is prominent in the family, the women of the family becomes polluted.
Okay.
And unwanted progeny seeps in.
Right. And because of unwanted progeny, what are the things that can happen?
Whole system is put in, like the community projects will not take off. And
That's a final thing. But before that, what happens to the family and ancestors?
Ancestors suffer because they don't follow proper rituals.
Yeah, they create a hellish planet, not just for the family, but for the ancestors also.
And they also do the mistake of not giving Krishna Prasada to the ancestors.
Yes, because of which the ancestors will also fall down. Yes, then because of all that,
community projects will not take off and family welfare activities are devastated.
Yes, and because of that, the community will, the overall, everyone they'll continue to go to hellish planets. Okay, so that's a concept. So now, after saying all this, Arjuna has now spoken thus. Sanjay is telling this to Dhritarashtra that Arjuna has spoken so far like this, and he's cast away his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. Okay, so why does Sanjaya say this? Because somewhere he is narrating this whole sequence to Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra might again feel a little ray of hope, thinking the war will not happen. Then if Arjuna has given up, then the war will definitely not happen. But we'll continue what happens. And the fifth reason on why Arjuna is not going to be fighting, that's going to be mentioned in chapter 2. So we'll discuss it when we read chapter 2. Okay, so this is how we end chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita. Jai, are there any questions on anything that we discussed today? I request everyone to be on video for this part.
No, Mataji.
Mataji, Varna Sankara means intercaste marriage. Because of Sankara.
No.
Sankara, that sounds different than Shankara.
Varna Shankara is not Varna Sankara. No. Varna Sankara is unwanted progeny. Children that are born without following the right spiritual processes. Right? Sorry, Prabhu, Ganesh Prabhu.
Yeah, it is unwanted child, unwanted children, something like
progeny. Like in today's world, you might say that intercaste marriage, but that's not really the definition of progeny. In today's world, when a child is born, if the right processes of giving birth to a child, in our Shastras, it talks about the process a woman needs to go through before giving birth to a child. It's called as Garbhadana Samskara. Okay, if that Garbhadana Samskara is not followed, then it's unwanted progeny. It does not mean unwanted to the parents. It means unwanted progeny for the society. Right?
If the kid is not brought up in the right direction.
Let me finish before anyone interrupts. So progeny here does not mean, in the case of war, right? Like I gave the example of women going through all that situations as an aftermath of war, right? And because of that, They will not be able to, in a happy mood, give a birth to a child because they have gone through a lot of torture themselves to give birth to this child. And that children will not come in the right consciousness. Right? But in our society today, how many of us really do Garbhadana Samskara or follow all these traditions? All of us are being born because of a passion between a man and a woman. Right? Some people, if you look at all the modern world, for them, the only reason to give birth to a child is lust. Right? So where then is though we might call this child as a wanted child, we don't call it unwanted progeny, but for a society, it's not going to do any good because this child is not going to be brought up in a Krishna conscious atmosphere. Right? So if a child at birth is not taken through Garbhadana Samskara, then even as they grow, then they will be unwanted progeny for the society, because unwanted in the sense they are going to put the society through hellish situations because of the kind of life they are going to live. Right? That is the meaning of unwanted progeny. It does not mean unwanted child. Right? It does not mean intercaste marriage. Those are all the aftermath of living in a society. Right? An unwanted progeny is essentially a child who is not brought up in the right manner, and hence is going to create more destructions, no hellish-like situation in the society.
Mataji, can it
Yes.
also mean if the norms of the society, if the norms of the varnas prescribed in the society are not followed, then also the destruction of the family, the traditions will happen?
Yes. So our Varnashrama is set up so that we live a more regulated life. It's not the essence of Varnashrama is not for see, there is Daivi Varnashrama and there's Asuri Varnashrama. When there is Daivi Dharma Varnashrama, then Krishna is the center of our family. Right? Whether it's childbirth or work or teaching or cooking, Krishna is the center. Right? Then there's Asuric Varnashrama, where your sense gratification is the center of all your activities. Right? So you're right when you say if society if it's following Asuri Varnashrama, then Krishna is not in the center. Then everything you do is for your own enjoyment. Right? I'll eat whatever I want. I'll disturb whoever I want. As long as I'm happy, that's the crux of it. Right? So how can the society be happy in that case?
No, my definition was a slightly different explanation. The varnas are, for example, the Kshatriya, Sudras, or the family system that is followed.
Yes.
A man should marry a woman, and the elders are respected, the ancestors are respected, and everything.
Yes.
These days, things are drastically changing. Right? So in that case, those days also those kind of things were there, but not written about.
So all of that regulations are coming from Dharma Shastra.
Okay.
Right? How the elders have to be treated, how the children have to be treated, how the family structure should be. Right? Even Varnashrama is coming from Dharma Shastra in that sense.
Okay. Okay.
Right? So you're right again. Like I said, yes, if those structures are not followed, then eventually what happens? Then people will not understand why certain things have to be done or not done, and eventually it becomes a adharmic society.
Understand.
Right? And that's when unwanted progeny and all that comes as a result as well. Right? Unwanted progeny does not mean bastard child or anything like the definition of it. It means children who are not raised in a society or a family such that they'll create hellish planet to the society after that.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions? Okay, Jay. So we finished chapter 1. Okay. What after this is I'm going to post a quiz. It's a simple quiz. Everything that has been discussed in the class so far will be part of that quiz. This quiz is, though I'm going to post the questions on the group, I would expect you to respond to me one-on-one, not on the group. Understand? You'll send me a personal message with your response. So what I'm going to do is, to avoid the possibility of people posting their response on the group, I'll disable the chat for a couple of days. Okay, so which means to say, for the next 5 days, I'll give you 5 days time to respond to the quiz. You'll have to go through the purport, make sure till the verse 46 of chapter 1, you have completely read the purports and you respond to the quiz. Okay, you can respond to me in the next 5 days. Today is what? Monday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. By Saturday, you're expected to send me your response on an individual chat. Okay, and those who cannot respond within 5 days, you'll have to let me know with solid reason. Cannot be that I don't have time, but if you have solid reason, then let me know. I think 5 days is good enough time. It's a simple chapter, simple quiz. So respond to me, and I'm going to consider this quiz responses as a requirement for being eligible to Gita Gyan level 2 certification. So there'll be 18 chapters, 18 quizzes, and every quiz, even if you have not personally attended these classes, you can go back to the Zoom recording and listen to the class and respond to these quizzes. Okay, are there any questions then on the quizzes or otherwise?
Yeah, is it objective type or theory?
Open-ended questions. Right, I'll let you know which verse you have to refer to or which purport you have to refer to, so you'll know where to look for the response. Okay, so this is a way for
the answer, Mataji.
It's an open book exam.
Yeah, it's open book exam.
Mataji, where will we find these recordings? Are they pinned?
It's on the group chat. I've posted the link for the
So,
recordings.
Mataji, I'll guide you on this, please.
Okay.
Okay. Jay. Okay. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo evacha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnebhyo namo namaha. Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Dhanvat pranam.
Mataji, Dhanvat pranam to everybody assembled. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dhanvat pranam. Thank you very much.
Thank you.